Look at me, that's when I was 18, look at me. And I love it because I can do, laser. I love a laser. Well, my background is I was a head teacher for 13 years, and I thought I was going to be a head teacher forever because I loved it. I did love it. And then my life changed, and I'm embarrassed, really, because, Neil, the creator of stories, I just thought one day, let's pop a story in a bag. Now, you all wish you thought of it before me, because you could have escaped just like I have. Well, no, because I got this phone call, and it was somebody from a government agency, and he said, Neil, would you like a year off? Well, you don't mess about, do you? So I said, yes, please, and started packing. And thanks to that little man saying, would I like a year off, in the end, the government funded me for 6 years with Story Stack, and here I am 23 years later. But Kathy was right. I am a passionate storyteller. And I got it from the most important person in my life, my dad. Now, I was brought up by just my dad, which was unheard of, because I was born in 1957, and sadly, by 1959, my mum, who they tell me was a ballerina, she danced off with a rich man, and I never, ever saw her again, which was kind of unheard of. I did see her 5 years ago after 57 years. I saw her 3 times, and my opening words to her were, hello, Mum, and then I said, oh, I've had a lovely life, because I have. And it was thanks to my amazing dad, who gave me a childhood to die for. Can I just tell you how lovely my childhood was? I'll give you a couple of examples. One night I was walking home, and I was holding his hand, and I was in my wellies, and I was sliding like this. And the next door neighbour said to Mr. Newman, he said, Norman, why is he walking funny? Oh, my dad said, where else was I going to put him? We didn't take a jam jar. And he said, pardon? In my wellies was frog spawn. No, there were 2 sticklebacks and a bully head. And I was going so slow, but when we took them off, I killed them all. And then by the age of 5, because does health and safety drive you mental? Don't start me on health and safety. I want children to be safe, but it's got silly, this high visibility, you're going to bring down aircraft before long. And why is it children are going to die of thirst if they haven't got a bottle with them? Suntan cream. Oh, bless them. And they all want, why do you constantly say, do you want to go to the toilet? It makes you want to go to the toilet. But my life, by the age of 5, I was caught up the vicar's tree, apple tree, and I got caught because my dad said, higher. I want those at the top. So I'm dangling from a twig, and the vicar sees me. When I get to the bottom, my dad said, you naughty boy, how did you get up there? He stuck me up there. So I had a mucky life. Oh, now you're looking at someone who not only is built like a rhinoceros, but I've never had colds, I've never had snivels and all this stuff, because by the age of about 2, I was plunging into cow poo. Because when we went to get our conkers, every year we went to get our conkers, my dad used to tell a lie. He said, when you threw, he said, no, remember the children who can't throw. And we had to only pick up the ones that landed in cow poo. So I thought people lived in Wiltshire that didn't have arms and couldn't throw. I thought, well, we'll leave them. So imagine plunging into cow poo at the age of 2. So built like a rhinoceros. But I had a lovely childhood, but then every night, after half an hour play, no longer, at least an hour, he would then say to us, who's first? And whoever got up the stairs and shouted out of me and my brother, ready, got a story to die for. Never missed. And it's because of him that I'm stood here. It's because of him that I had that passion. But he did fail me a little bit with maths, because he was an accountant. And accountants don't understand why other people don't know what the hell they're talking about. In fact, most mathematicians, if they're really good, they cannot teach it, because they don't understand why you're looking gormless at them. And as I'm terribly right-brained, I spent a lot of my childhood with my mouth open, because when you're right-brained, you're very visual, but you're not auditory. And I've got if somebody tells me their name, I've got a clue who they are 3 seconds later. And don't give me directions out there, because sometimes they say, go left, go right. I think, no, I'll go left, then I'll ask somebody else. It takes me hours if people are... No, because I can't, and you can't either. Look at some of you. I feel like I'm going to test you. Right, here's my mobile number. Get ready. Don't write it. Here you go. 07976 574 627. Go. Somebody tell me. Right, that person over there gets on my nerves because they're left-brained. Some of you, I loved it, you would just do it, like you were. Because when you're right-brained and you've got no auditory memory, you try and swallow. And the whole of my maths, there were people that were talking at me, so I never got it. Do you know what they used to say to me? Neil Griffiths, in one ear and out the other with you. Well, I thought I had a hole. And so you open your mouth hoping that what they're saying, and often when people are telling me things, I'm like this. It's sad, isn't it? But he failed me with maths because he got cross very quickly with me. And so I'm always saying to people, I want them to love reading, but I want them to love maths too, because I didn't. Now I'm going to take you through a bit of a journey, and there will be moments that you'll be scared. So you might want to think of who you want to hold at those scary moments, okay? I'll hold the cameraman, all right, at the back. So maths was not always fun or easy to connect with for me. You don't have to write anything down. And stop fiddling? I love it. Because just look at some of those. It's enough to make you wet your pants, isn't it? I mean, look at them. But I met somebody, he was on my course recently, and I don't want people like this on my course. Because as he walked through the door, I heard him say to the person next, I've just done a maths degree. Well, can I just say, anybody who thinks we're going to do maths higher than a 4-year-old today, you can bog off and go on another course. I don't do maths over 4. But he looked at those things and his face lit up. I thought, God, I don't want that man on my course. No, who wants a maths degree person on your course? And he said he loved denominators. I could have smashed his face in. And he even said, aren't hypotenuse useful? Where? I mean, if you ever walked in and said, I need to discuss a hypotenuse, I mean, what is one? I know that Fibonacci series is in a shell, but so what? I just want the shell. I don't want to know it's Fibonacci. But you see, those things, I ought to be going, ooh, look. But see, I was scared. Look at them. Algebra. Oh, God, I could not stand algebra. I just could not do it. I couldn't. They get worse. Look at that. A quadratic equation. And have any of you ever said, look, that's a scalene triangle? No, have you? Do you look at triangles and say, is that an equilateral or an isosceles? I haven't got a clue with you. I can do a lovely zigzag if you want me to. I can zigzag all around the room, but that's about my limit. But is it any wonder I got trigonometry? Has anyone in this room in the last 28 years ever done anything? Probably you have, but you didn't know, did you? Oh, God, they're scary. Look at them. Now, that's why I got myself in a panic. I did. Those things scared me, and they shouldn't have done. I wanted to like them, but I couldn't. And to be honest, they did take me counters away too early. Can I just say something? I need counters now. I do. And I know about compare bears, but I do like Lincoln elephants. Do you? When their little tails go to their trunks. I love them. But they took them away. Can I just tell you something? When I count 3 and 4, in my head, I still see the 3 and the pattern of 4. I still see 3 and 4 visually. So I still need me counters. But they took them away, the rotters. And I was haunted by these words. Now, some of you, this is when you may need therapy, so brace yourselves, right? We've got backup outside if you pass out, right? I've just shown you. Now, can I just say, I want to introduce somebody in my life called Mrs. Evans, or maybe I should say Mrs. Evans, because I thought that Mrs. Evans, now, having a maths teacher you can't stand for 1 year is bad enough. I had them for 5 years, Mrs. Evans. I wanted Miss Jackman because she once called me Neil. And I thought, she sounds lovely. Because Mrs. Evans, I thought, God, you bring on lockjaw. Whenever she looks at me. No, because other people, she'd say Carl, Jennifer, but with me, Griffiths. And she couldn't say Neil. She couldn't get Neil out. It was Griffiths. And she was vile. But I will tell you, I got me revenge. I'll tell you at the end, I got me revenge. But she kept saying, just shut. What? You see, the problem was, she was lying. She told me, but she never showed me anything. And you see, because she told me, I couldn't hold it. And then why don't you listen? And I'm thinking, I flipping well was. And I was a little listener, but I couldn't hold it. And then this one, now, can I just say something? This gets on my, I'm only going to tell you this once. Well, can I just tell you, I'm a bit like when you paint a wall. I need an undercoat, an overcoat, and I need to be touched up several times later. No, you got to dunk me in it, roll me in it, flop me in it. No, it's no good saying it once. No, it's not good enough. I need it 15 times, and I need you to be patient. Now, can you see why I got myself in a pickle? Wasn't she horrible? Now, can you see? If you can't, it's your fault for sitting there. No, I will keep moving, because bless you. Look at that fraction. Look at it. That's not a fraction, that's an equation. But no, that's a real one. I feel so impressed that I could even do one on my own. That is true. Now, look at it, and what could it be? Well, I had 4 school maths lessons a week. I didn't have maths on a Friday, and I want you to look at me when I say this, because I signed up for the cross-country team. Look at me. I thought I'll do cross-country with an oxygen bag rather than... So I got out of maths, because I was on the team, we travelled, so I didn't have maths on a Friday. And that's the only reason I did it, right? Then I had, Mr. Cooper. Mr. Cooper came home. Yeah, home tutor. Mr. Cooper, my dad paid for him. Imagine you've got to do it at home. And then my dad said, this isn't good enough, you're going to a night class at the college. So I did Tuesdays, Mr. Cooper, Thursdays, night. But what did I get for my first GCSE? I didn't get a number. I got a letter of the alphabet. For unclassified. I panicked, wet myself, and had to leave. I was completely unclassified in my first go. I got in such a state, right? Now, in a minute, I want a round of applause, right? It took me 7 attempts to get a GCSE. Now you're saying, why did you bother? Because the year I went to training college to train to be a teacher, guess what? You can't be a teacher unless you got a... No, that was nasty. Because before that, you could do a little test when you got to college, and if you could add up to 20, they let you in. But no, so I had to keep going. 7 attempts. But, ready? After many retakes, however, when is the C not a C, really? When you cheated in the exam. Now, the cheating I really did, they didn't ever find out, because I had all the formulas right up here, across my nipples, down here, couple down my buttock, because I couldn't remember this, so I was always... They didn't see that. No, on the last go, I did it on 3 different examining boards at the same time, because they didn't clash the exams. My dad was driving me all over the country to do maths, and you can only do 2, and they found out, and they withdrew my result. However, do you remember in Billy Elliot when his dad went with him to the ballet school and kind of saved the day? Well, my dad went to the Associated Board in London. I never got to go in, but whether he offered to sleep with the panel, whether he gave them money, I don't know, but they suddenly said, you've passed, you're all right. So I went to college, and when I went to college, oh God, but then I didn't realise at college, because I was doing things like ologies, I'd never heard of I remember ringing my dad in a red phone box saying, Dad, I'm doing sociology. He said, what is it? I said, I don't know, but it's lovely. I was so excited about being at college, and I thought it was going to be joyful, and then I suddenly saw on the timetable, Wednesdays, the teaching of maths. I forgot I was going to have to teach it. And I want to share with you the joy. I had to learn about the number systems of ancient civilizations. Now, to be fair, on my bucket list is Peru. And who knows, there could be the odd Inca who still lives unspotted in the Amazon. I could bump into him and say, good God, I can count to 1,000 with you, because I can do Aztec and Inca. Why? Why was I learning Aztec and Inca? But I can do it. If you want to do it, I'll do a bit with you. It's lovely. And then we went on to binary. Binary only involves two numbers, 0 and 1. But I couldn't do it. But then they lied to me. The tutor said we're doing a practical project. I thought, thank God, get those linking elephants out. I thought practical. Oh, do you want to know what the practical? It was assessed this. We had to actually make an abacus. Now, can I just say something? When you're living in a bedsit in Cheltenham, try and make an abacus. Where are you supposed to get the chisels and the god? But I'm going to tell you the truth. I should not be a teacher because I shouldn't have qualified. Yes, I cheated again. My dad made it and I got an A-. And I don't care. I nearly got caught because the tutor said, lovely dovetailing. I thought, what the? It was a joint my dad had done. I didn't even know what a dovetail was. So I shouldn't have passed because I lied. I got an A- and I never made it. So there, I've confessed. But then, thank God, I got through and I was so excited about being a teacher. However, they then gave me Year 6, which used to be called 4th year juniors. Have you seen the maths that Year 6 do? Dear God. Now, can I just say, we had 2 sets of books, Alpha and Beta. Now, Alpha were for the bright children, so I actually hid those in the art cupboard. No, I said to the children, I do not want bright children mathematically in this class. If you try and jump ahead of me, you've had it. No, they got on my nerves. I can see Colin Thornton now. Used to flick over to the next page. I said, I'm not ready. Turn it back. I said, we're all dopey and we're dopey together and we're on Beta. But then something happened. It haunted me, but it changed me forever. Little boy Bradley, I can see him looking at me, his lip. Because little Bradley, we were doing the multiplication of fractions. Now, I can't even do them. And has anybody ever multiplied a fraction in their life? No, you haven't, have you, unless you're in a nuclear plant. But we had to do them because it was on Year 6. We had to do the multiplication. And I did this terrible thing. I went, wait, and I've just shown you. And I thought, oh my God, it's like Alien. You know in Alien, that film where the monster's in I thought, Evans is in there, she's coming out. I thought, my God, I'm going to be a Mrs. Evans. So I went to see the head, Steve. I'll never forget it. I went in the right. I said, Steve, I'm not doing that. He said, calm down. I said, I'm not doing the fractions. He said, don't do them. I went, pardon? I said, there's stuff I'm not doing. If I can't show them, I'm not doing it. He said, fine. No, he supported me. I said, no, it's not real. I love that little, that was a lovely start. I was so proud of you. I've only just met you. But, no, he said, dude, just calm down. Well, suddenly, I thought, what, I can only do it if it's real. Oh, it just changed my life. Smarties, have you ever done Smarty maths? Oh my God, who cares about the maths? You can just we did this whole thing just to do graphs, because it filled an afternoon. I said, how many licks to get the colour off? Your tongue was, no, it took 3 hours to do a bar graph, fill in the colour it in. But suddenly I became so imaginative because I desperately wanted the children for it to be real. And I got ever so good, because we had to do averages, but you can do it with Smarties. Because in a Smartie tube, it ranges between 39 and 42 Smarties. Well, the children, Mr. Griffiths, we've been done. We haven't got the average contents. It was lovely. I got so good at it. Let me just tell you one other thing before I go to because my school was a rural school. Little Ollie said my dad said you can come and do maths on the farm. Well, we nearly wet ourselves. So we go to the farm and we did all sorts of things with eggs, and then we would do multiplications. And he said, do you want to do 4s with tractor wheels? I said, yeah, let's count tractors and more. Then we did cows' teats. And he said, and I'll never forget him saying to me, Mr. Griffiths, you can't count Daisy. I went, why? Because she's got 5 teats. I said, pardon? She's got one that she shouldn't have. And she did. She had a little teat sticking out. So we had to, I said, she's not in our herd. But imagine counting cows' teats. You've never done that, have you? No, you've missed out in life. So I got better and better and better. But, oh, thank goodness, things have changed now. It's not like my horrible old days. You know, because look at the things I see going on. Now, I do realise that probably Tim Henman, probably Nadal, occasionally need to get a feel for the weight of their tennis ball. I'm sure that they are the few people for whom the weight of a tennis ball is quite crucial. But I saw these children weighing tennis balls and I thought, why? And then measuring the length of a playing card. These children... Now, can I just say, at Christmas, do you get the cards out? We play. But if you ever said to someone, what's the length of yours? No, but obviously it was important they were doing this. And then, oh, God, count... Now, can I just say, I thought I had found the place, the one place Scarborough has a shell shop. And I went in and I said, do you count your shells? Because it'll make me feel better. He said, no, they come ready packed from Indonesia. Even the shell shop. So I got worried. And I'm still worried because I want to see them doing real, that they can relate to, not beading. Oh, God, you do beads on... Oh, that gets rid of a couple of hours, doesn't it? Put 4,000 on a bead and then count them. And no, And if you'd done a trundle, do you remember the old days, the trundle wheels? It was like a wheel and it clicked every click, click, click. Now, if I wanted to get rid of children for quite a while, I'd say, I'd like to know the perimeter of the school field. Off you go. And then if it looked like they were nearly there, I'd shout, how many of you? Oh, I've put you off. Start again. No, they were out there. I want there to be some connection. That lovely trundle wheel. Now, what do we know about maths? Well, when maths experiences are rooted in children's individual interests and fascination, it increases their engagement, motivation, and desire to learn. All children can be successful with maths provided they have opportunities to explore mathematical ideas in ways that make personal sense to them. Mathematical activities for young children must be set within their experience of everyday life and it must involve them in active exploration of the world around them. Mathematics is essential to everyday life. Mathematics education should provide a sense of enjoyment and curiosity about the subject. So, this is the only little bit of work you've got to do. What makes a great maths activity? Decide as a table. What makes a great maths activity? Go on. All right, time up. Oh, don't waffle. Shh. I love shushes, do you? Did you know, by the way, that you do 3 sorts of shush? You probably don't really... No, if it's quite naughty, you go shh, like a long one. If it's not very naughty, shh. And sometimes you do a lovely intermittent one. Shh, 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 shh. I love a shush, don't you? Now, look, to be honest, to save time, I'm just going to give you the answers because, no, I can't stand courses. No, I hate courses where you go, and what did this table think? And what did... And by the time we get to you, you're all going to say, they've said all of our things. No, it bores me. And I know the answers, so what's the point of asking you? No, I did it to make you feel involved, for goodness sake. So I'll give you the answers. Really, what you need to do is ask yourself this. Never mind what makes it matter. What makes any activity interesting to you? What makes you want to do it? And more importantly, what makes you want to have another go and do it again? Because it's not just any activity. You think, what is it that pulls me into this? So, here's your top 10. Rooted in real life, or as close to it as you can. Relevant and enough personal interest to spark their curiosity. Purposeful and meaningful. Weighing tennis balls is all I'm saying, right? I could give you worse ones than that, but stimulating, challenging, and lots of chances to solve problems. I love a problem. Practical, multisensory, physical, and hands-on. But can I just say one little thing? Because we all know that we're very passionate about sensory. Could you say it for me like that, please? Because you don't go sensory, you go sensory. Ready? Because it became like an in word, and everywhere you went, children were being sensory. You know, children were plunging into jelly. People were smearing themselves with goose grease. No, everywhere, and it became, every setting I went to, they would be, the practitioners would be going, sensory, look, sensory. And it was, and of course, I love, in fact, one of the things I hadn't done I've done the whole tick list of childhood, you name it, I've done it with my dad, but I'd never plunged my feet into jelly. And I did do it recently, and it's quite sensual, so if you want to have a go, do it. But we all know it's important that it's hands-on, but I want to give you an example of one little setting I was in. There was, first of all, this group of children that had chiffon scarves, and I thought, oh, that's my sort of thing. So I went over and I said, what are you doing? And they went, and I said, I know, but what are you going to do in a minute? And they just wouldn't speak, they would just go. So I thought, oh, okay. Then I went to another group who were plopping their way into jelly. And it was lovely, and I wanted them to plop, I wanted them to plunge in, it was lovely. Then I went to the feather group, who had bags of feathers, and I said, what are you tickling? I said, you're tickling? What, all day? Probably, we're tickling. And I went round, and what I realised was, of course it needs to be that, but it could have been taken so much further with the slightest little, like we could, I said in the end, with the feather children, I said, which one takes the longest to drop to earth? So suddenly there was a little bit of challenge. And then I said to the children in the jelly, go and get a magnifying glass and see if you can see a fingerprint. And I gave up because I couldn't get anything from the group to it. I said, just do it. No. And I would, sometimes you need to move it on. It can be hands-on, but sometimes you need to move it on a little bit with minds on as well. You know, that doesn't mean sometimes it will come from the child, it's initiated from the children, so important, but we all know sometimes they don't initiate, so a little bit of intervention is very useful, but be careful that hands-on can go somewhere as well. Of course I want them to feel that lovely sensation, but a bit more. And can I just say, will you promise me that you will sometimes be spontaneous in your life? Now, I know you have to plan on a daily, weekly, hourly, monthly, termly, yearly, and I think do decadely, get it out the way. I know, please don't think I'm saying to you don't plan. You know I'm not saying that. What I want you to sometimes say is, to hell with it. Just sometimes, no, managers and people, don't panic. Local authority, don't get yourself in a state, calm down. I do want you to plan, but sometimes if you see something, because I will never forgive myself for what I did for little Desmond Thatcher. Isn't that a lovely name? Imagine calling your baby Desmond Thatcher. But he was adorable, little Desi, and I've never forgiven myself because he was fiddling with the Venetian blinds. And I did that noise that you've all done. I don't know what it means, but it works. Ah! What is that? I used to go into the... no, you've done... what does that mean? I've been into the... I used to go into the dining hall. Oh! And they knew. What? And then he dared to go, but... Do you know what he was trying to tell me? I've never forgiven myself. He was trying to tell me that on the school field there was a cow who'd come through our fencing and Mr. Ovens, the caretaker, was chasing it with 3 skipping ropes. And I went down to the staff room and they all said, why didn't you bring your class out? I said, what? He said, I know. And then he said, I was trying to tell you. But I did get better when Helen Delaney said a butterfly had come through. I could have said, you stupid girl, flick it out. But I didn't. I said, oh, how lovely, Helen, it's come to see us. She said, can I follow it to see where it lives? And I said, Helen, you'll get lost. She said, I won't, I'm going to drop paper. You can follow the paper. So we did it, but it went upwards, so she got nowhere, but it doesn't matter. All I want you to do, if somebody sees something that you think, because do you know what I want you to give children, as much as all the things you do, please give them memories. Please. I want to look back, because children will never come up to you and say, do you remember the worksheet on the Romans? They will, because I was a bit of a maverick as the head teacher. I was. And one of the things that I'm so glad I did one day, I got given a handbell from an old school that was closing. And if I rang it, the only time I ever rang it is, Mr. Griffiths has thought of something for us to do that's much better than what you're doing. And the whole school had to come into the hall and I'd say, why don't we? And I'll never forget the sausage festival. I just said to the children, I like sausages, which is the best? Sort it out, you've got all day. And we got it all ready before. We were frying sausages, measuring them, which ones shrunk. Then we had a taste fest. Now, children come up to me. In fact, the 28-year-old said to me in Sainsbury's by the checkout, do you remember the sausage? And I thought, dear God. Can we talk outside? But no, you will sometimes. No, if something happens, you think, oh. And yeah, I want a bit of an... Because can I tell you something I'm a bit scared about? I'm going to be really frank with you. I was an external examiner for a teacher training course and I've resigned. 2 reasons. One, they told me I had to pass everybody. I said, sorry, we get them all through because they lose funding if they fail. But then I also got a bit bored. The bit I was most looking forward to was seeing the students. I thought, ooh, but I got a bit bored because what I'm really scared about is that we're losing some of our wonderful characters in education. There's a danger that we're becoming a bit formulaic if you're not careful. And I don't want that to happen because I want you to know something. Your personality is the biggest resource. You are the big person in that room. And I want you to use every inch of who you are. I don't want it to be knocked out of you. Because when I'm given a piece of feedback from a school inspector who said to this poor practitioner, I didn't come here to see personality today, thank you, then I'm getting worried. But I want you to know your personality. That doesn't mean... Well, actually, it does. Yeah. Well, no, just do this for me. Try and think of your favourite person at school. Go on. Your teacher, sorry, your favourite practitioner, or nursery, wherever you were. Who's one of your faves when you were little? Or who do you work with now that you think's fabby with children? And I want you to think, what makes them fabby? Now, were you thinking, and if you match this, I'll give you one of my books free if you match to my... Were you thinking my favourite person always ensured that objectives were made clear at the beginning of the lesson? Or that they used ongoing and effective assessment strategies that fed into a very accessible record-keeping system? Were you thinking they used momentum and pace with rigour and organisation? No, you weren't. You were thinking my favourite person was slightly mentally ill. They were eccentric, they were passionate, they were gentle, they were caring, they were original. And they were surprising. And I want you to have, yes, I want you to plan. Yes, I want you to have structure. But I want it to be you. I want that wow factor. Because you do know what every one of you in this room is, because you signed up to work with children. You do know you're performers. If you can't perform, go and look after sheep. No, I don't want you working with children unless you're prepared to act. And you know what I mean. The first child walks through the door, you're feeling like death warmed up, but you go, hiya. Day from hell, hiya. And don't you dare miss one single child. Don't you dare miss them. When they come through that door, spot them so they know they're safe. Oh, she's seen me. So important, that first moment. But you're performers, and it can be ever so gentle. Sometimes they just something lovely, you just go. You're not out of control. You're not. But I want you to remember, you are, and if you cannot perform, I genuinely mean don't, because I'm going to tell you the truth, too many people are working with children who shouldn't be. I want to knock on their forehead and say, are you in? They just give nothing. Children watch your face, your every move. And it is, they know when you're pleased with them just because of the way you're walking past them. And those who have let us down, they know. Okay. Self-initiated, adult-led, adult-supported, adult-accompanied, they're all important. You need a bit of all of them when supporting an activity. Enjoyed indoors and out. I love a bit of out, don't you? Well, I love a lot of out. It's lovely. And if it ain't fun, what's the point? Okay. Now, you do know adults matter. And when I do these next little activities, I don't want you to think well, you already think I'm a raving nutter. But I don't want you to think, I want you, because I'm going to treat you like the children. I want you to see how you as adults, I think, should be with children in any activity, never mind a mathematical one. So watch, and you'll think, oh my God, yeah, good. Because this is how I believe we should be, okay? Now, you're going to see a lot of passion in a minute and a lot of excitement. And I don't want you to think, why is he talking to me as if I'm 3? Because I'm doing it on purpose. I want you to listen to the way I speak, the way I move. Watch that passion and excitement. We've got to be playful. And can I just say, if you're playful, which I have been all my life, it gives you good qualities, but you can be irritating. But you're only irritating to people who aren't playful. And I don't want to play with them, do you? So I don't, no. I've got 2 friends, Pam and Richard. Oh, I've stuck with them because they're children of my godchildren. They are 2 of the most boring people. And when we went to the seaside in the summer, I said, I'm going to get candy floss. They told me I was juvenile. What's wrong with candy floss? So I bought one of those rock dummies. Oh. I'll give you. All right. Guess what? I'm going to let you into a secret. Good storybooks are exciting, stimulating, and have high visual appeal. Children relate well to their characters and are drawn in by their storylines. Their vivid illustrations are just waiting to be investigated, and rich mathematical vocabulary is interwoven into stories text. They are more often than not based in real or near real life, providing the perfect context and setting for mathematical exploration. They're reassuring, familiar, and comforting. So what I'm saying is, it's a lovely place to start for your mathematical exploration. So where shall we start? Well, what is wonderful is that virtually every story is sequential. Now, sequencing is a very important skill for young children because it supports so many aspects. So they need to be good at sequencing and ordering and sorting. And you don't need to write these stories down because I'll tell you at the end my website, and you can click on it and find all the list of stories there's hundreds on there that you can use. So you can just download it, all right? Otherwise you'll fiddle with pens. Now, does anybody want another piece of cake? Because plunge in at this point, because otherwise you'll get on my nerves. Okay. So let's just start with a little sequencing. I love this story called Balloon. It is gorgeous. Can be done indoor or out. So, could I borrow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Could you just come on up a second? Don't panic. You haven't got to come up. Yeah, good, well done. Right, make a nice little line. Spread across. That's lovely. Now, you're going to be the balloon man. You get props. You're going to be Billy. Right, you're going to be Mummy, right? Put your little hat on. You're the dog. You're the duck. Lovely. Would you mind being the cow? Could you be the lovely bird? And I've spared no expense. Would you be the tree? Come and be the tree. Get in the line. Line up in the line. That's it. That's lovely. What have you done? Did I ask for chatting? No. Look at her face. What have you done with your ears? Now, I want you to watch the gorgeous sequence, but I also want you, when I introduce a lovely word, I want you to watch how I react to that word, because language is what we all know is that children are arriving into our settings with poorer preparation. Many children have not been taught to, played with, read with. They've not been exposed to nursery rhymes. They've had limited experience. We know that there's been a dramatic drop in children's language ability and vocabulary banks. Now, maths is a wonderful, wonderful chance to enrich that lovely vocabulary. So, I'm going to warn you, the balloon must not touch the floor. Now, because you're thinking, why wasn't I chosen? You're going to be the wind, okay? So can we have a lovely... Lovely. Now, as we know, there's not... Can you try and look as if you're a tree, not like a limp twig? Shall we get someone else to do the... Okay. So we know there's no real wind, so you mustn't let the balloon touch the floor. All right? Now I need to whisper at the end when I say now, pop it with your foot. Okay? Pop it. Lovely. Now, Mummy, you don't touch the balloon. I'm telling you that now. The rest of you do. And can you think who you are? And just, can I have a bit of a woof, woof, woof? Just a woof, woof, woof. Can I have a duck? Yeah. Lovely. Lovely. That was a mouse, but never mind. Yeah, just you stand. So here we go. And I want acting as we do this, all right? But watch the... Mr. Griffiths has just thought of a lovely word. Sequence. Oh, isn't it gorgeous? Sequence. We're going to see a sequence. Wow. Do you want to say it? Yeah, and say words with passion. Because I could have just said we're going to do a sequence. I want sequence. Makes you just want to know what one is. Sequence. So here we go. Oh, Billy saw it. Mummy paid for it. Pay the balloon man. That's lovely. Lovely. The balloon man threw it and Billy caught it. Lovely. Billy waved it. Was that meant to be a wave? What are you doing? Billy headed it, but he head it with your head. That's normally with your... And saved it. Lovely. Billy squeezed it, tossed it, lost it. Oh. You can't get the staff, can you? Hold on to it. Tossed it right up in the air. Mummy tried to get it, but the dog grabbed it. The dog ran round with it. Whacked it, and the duck grabbed it and attacked it. There's nothing worse than a show-off, is there? The duck flicked it, and the cow licked it. Flicked it. The bird tweeted, flapped, trapped, whacked, and the tree held it. Billy rushed to it. Oh, you're getting into it now, aren't you? No. Did I say? But he couldn't, little Billy couldn't reach it. Oh, Mummy tried to reach it. Oh. So Billy thought he'd lost it and started, come on, Billy, towards. But the wind blew it. Now help it, help it, help it. Billy grabbed it, tripped, and what did I whisper in your ear? And
really, you help me.
Dear God. Shall we have a break? I'm a bit... Billy thought he'd lost it. But the balloon man whisper in his ear, he'd got another balloon, and Mummy said she'd buy him another one. Now, close your eyes and don't cheat. And I want you to... Oh, hang on a minute, I've got another lovely word coming up. Position. Oh, go on, say it, because it's enormous. Oof. Go on, say it again. Oof. I want you to change positions. Just get... no, I've got another word, don't move. I want them to go all muddled up. Go on. Oh, these lovely, we've had sequence, position, muddled up. So close your eyes so you're not cheating. Get all muddled, quickly. Open your eyes. Lovely. Right, you two, you can work, in fact, you can work as a trio. Is she in the right position? Where do you want to go? Which way do you want her to go? Oh, hang on, I want to introduce positional words. Do you want her to go left or right? And do you want her to go a little bit or a long way? They want you to go left a long way. Oh, no. Can you be a little less aggressive? Slot back in. Is she in the right position? I'm not sure. And can I ask a question? In our sequence, who's in position 3? What creature? Who's last but one? You're last but one, bless your heart. Do you know what? No, I'm going to go the whole way. I'm going to do the biggest word you've ever heard, probably, apart from Tyrannosaurus Rex. She's penultimate. Say it, get it out your systems. No, not penultimate, penultimate. Which means last but one. Look at you, I can see you're just beside yourself with excitement. Lovely. Right, now, come on, Kathy. Is the duck in the right position?
Yes.
Are you, duck? Kathy, you've not just let yourself down. You've let the whole of Jersey down. Now, I could go on, but just in this little, and we love being outside when it's windy. It's wonderful to do that. But lots and lots of stories have got that sequential, and it's lovely because you can get first, second, third, fourth. What's another word for beginning? First and start. That's 3 words. What's another one for end? Finish. Oh, these words are just pouring out of us. Now, I could go on and on and on. Okay, sit down because I've had enough of this group. So, lots of lovely stories have position. Now, here's that Jasper's beanstalk is gorgeous for sequencing. Gorgeous. Balloon is fabulous. Oh, and there's a lovely one about I kissed the baby, because the children have to remember who we kissed next. They all had a kiss of the baby, little baby duckling. Look, that's a lovely one for doing with sequencing. Zed's bread is fantastic, because look, his dad's making it. He's doing the whole shebang. Look. And beans on toast I adore. Look, there they are dangling, peeling, cooking, canning. But also, what's wonderful is stories have fantastic illustrations, of which pattern and shape is oozing. And there is a story that I absolutely adore. Hooray, Fish. And when I opened the covers one day, I thought, I'm in heaven, because just look. Now, this activity is not something you do for an hour and a half with the children. This is an activity that when you're in the mood, you just walk past a child with the book. Now, remember, never hold a book like this, ever, because that says, let's get the damn thing over with. It's like this. And you might just pop over and say, can I ask you something? Can you see a spotty fish on there?
Yeah.
Show me. Are there any more spotty? Oh, gorgeous. But can you see a stripy fish? Oh, that's lovely and striped. What colour are his stripes?
Purple and orange.
Purple and yes. How lovely. But I'm going to say something unbelievable to you. Can you see a spiral? There's one on there, I know it. Spot the spiral. Yes, it's spirally. How gorgeous. And I want to really test you because you look as if I could. I want you to tell me, on this picture, is there a fish with a brown, good God. Yes, so it made me nervous. Can you see one with a brown background and black spots, yes or no?
Yes.
Where?
Down the bottom.
Oh, and I'm not being funny, which is the longest? Now, because what I like with these things, you don't have to make it, just little moments, little dippy ins. Oh, I can see you're jealous. Go on then. Which is the smallest fish on that page? Do you know, I think you're right. It's a little tiddler. It's tiny. And I just have little moments when I just pass children and think, just dip in. Or I might gather a group round. Now, this is a fantastic book for doing a whole wall display. If you want to fill up a whole wall, have an enormous aquarium. And what I say to the children, my little challenge for them is, can you create a fish that no one else has created? So if you spot that somebody's got yellow with purple spots, you can't have purple spots and yellow. And they all have got to look at each other's to make sure, is mine different to everybody else? Just seconds, just dipping in. And another lovely story oh, look, there it is. Oh, no, I love Past the Jam Jim. Oh, just look at that. In fact, let's play a little game. Can you look at that picture? Now, take in every inch of that picture. Go on. And I think we'll have a little bit of fun. See this? It's like our sequence. So try and remember that line in the correct, oh God, I've thought of another word, everyone. Order. Right, so just take a look down there and just think, right, try and work it. We're going to start there and we're going to try and remember. Go on. Go. Oh yeah, you're all going, yeah, that's what I thought it was. Now with our little children, all I ask them to remember is just the first three, plate, cracker, cracker. And then we see, can anybody go any further? Plate, cracker, cracker, plate. Can you go even further? Plate, cracker, cracker. They love it. How many can we remember? Just a little, just a teeny bit of fun. And obviously, you can do a lovely party layout on a table in your classroom and, you know, do the same thing. And this book I adore. But you see, it's no point doing any of these things unless you can have a little bit of passion with it. So I could just say to you, right, we're having bear in the square. Here's the bear and it's in a square. Can you see everybody? Can you see the bear in the square? Can you see it? It's there. Look at it, then you can see it. Can you see the hearts? See the hearts in the queens? Can you see them in the queen? That's lovely. Can you see the circles in the pool? See the circles? See it quickly. Look. And I love the way that people, now that you obviously you live in Jersey, so you probably do things like this, like a wave. Can you see? or we do a lovely lighthouse. Do we see? But I actually went into a school 8 times with this book, and I only did 1 page. And I'll give you an example. I did, can you find a bear in a square? And all round the nursery, I'd hidden soft toys sitting on a shape. So there was a mouse on a circle. There was a snake on an oblong. But I'd hidden the bear on the square, which there was only one, in the gents' toilets. Because that's not where you're supposed to go, and that will make it exciting. And I sat it on the cistern. So we went on, and of course children were hunting. Mr. Griffiths, no, Mr. Griffiths, it's a squirrel on a hexagon. Oh, well, we've looked everywhere. Where haven't we looked? We've been in this office, that cupboard. We haven't been in the gents' toilets. And I'm going to give you permission. I'll knock, no one in there. And of course, there it was, sat on the cistern. Can you think of anything more fun? And then we re-hid them. Then when I did, that was a lovely day. I did all to do with swirls and so I put loads of things they could swirl. Wallpaper paste, jelly, baked beans, salt. We had tray and all we would do, and then we had a paddling pool and we looked at ripples and watched ripples. Just a lovely morning, all to do, but I could have been deadly. Can you see the bear in the square? But it's what you make of it. It's what you make of it. Okay. So lovely and look at that one. That's fantastic for shape and pattern. Stripy, spotty and plain. It's gorgeous. And pants. And I was hoping we'd get to pants because it can be our little finale. Okay. Let's pass some pants. Just get to know a pair of pants. Okay. Don't think I'm neglecting you back here because I'm not. Okay. Just have some pants. And I want this table here because you look like you've got important people on this table. Spread your pants out. That's too many. But spread your pants out. Can you pass some pants over there? Oh, gold. Spread your pants. Any spares? Make sure everybody's got pants. Okay. We all got pants? Okay, not everybody, but make sure every pair of pants has been spread out somewhere. Don't have any left on your table, pass them to another. There must not be spare pants anywhere. Now, again, with this story, I normally warm us up with what colour are your knickers? Because can I just say, children adore the word poo, pants, bottom and knickers. They love them. So, what colour are your knickers, Horse Ned? Blue. We're rhyming. They're red. What colour are your knickers, Tommy Turtle? Oh, look at his little purpley pants. Aren't they lovely? What colour are your knickers, Crocodile Joe? Yellow. God, help me. What colour are your knickers, Spider Wink? Pink. Ooh, look at her, my love on each leg. What colour are your knickers, Mrs. Moo? Blue. Oh, and they're checkered. And what knickers, Sheep Charlene? Green. And what knickers, Elephant John? He ain't got any on. I love it. And I adore this. Now again, I could just share this story, but I don't just do that. What I do is I say, I go rushing in, children, I'm ever so sorry, I've had a disaster with the washing machine, couldn't tumble dry, my pants are soaked, I've got to hang my pants out. So they're all going, and I say, get on with your free flow, just keep busy, because I've got to sort my pants out. And they're going, so I hang out this thing and I start, and you've got to perform. Right, you're busy, lovely. La 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 la. And I go, and the children go. I said, what's the matter? These were very useful when I got lost in London. Thank goodness I had them on. I looked down, popped them on. Don't you dare. Then I go la 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 la. la. Children, they're my disco pants. Stop it. Oh, here's me hot pants, children. Look at those. Aren't they gorgeous? Oh, I bought these when I was down under. Little kangaroos. Oh, these are when I'm in all sorts of moods, children. Lovely. Me dog walking. Oh, look, there's me swimming ones. Me mermaid pants. And then hands off, those are my pants. Look at those lovely. You could go on, and of course you always finish with, oh, look at those pants. Pow. They love your pants. So you just got to buy pants, right? So once I've got them warmed up, I obviously plunge into pants, but then we have a bit of fun. Could you hold your pants in the air, everybody, please? Oh, aren't they lovely? Children, they're a bit muddled up, but I've got small pants, medium pants, and big pants. Could you work out what yours are? Oh, stop. Something unbelievable is happening in this room. You are doing comparisons, aren't you? You are comparing your pants. I watched that table do it. You, go on, show us your comparison. Look. And she immediately said, yours are bigger than mine. Lovely. So you've worked out what your pants are. Could you wave your pants in the air if they're small? If they're small. Could, Madam dear, you're medium, trust me. Okay. Madam, I do the jokes. Hand up your pants if they're big. Oh, look at those whoppers. Hands up your mediums. Oh, lovely. But then I want to put a bit of test in. Children, could you hold up your pants? They could be any size, but if they're stripy. And we got stripy. Oh, and I can feel too. Could you just show your pants a second and turn them so they can see? Because children, I've got two unbelievable words. Those are vertical stripes and those are horizontal. Aren't those lovely? Say them, go on.
Vertical, horizontal.
No, perform it. Horizontal. I know, it's lovely. Could you hold up your pants if they're small and spotty? Hold them right up so they can see your small and spotty pant. Lovely. But could you hold your pants up if they tessellate? Oh, that's testing. Tessellate means that they're like a jigsaw, that every pattern, there's no gaps. Oh, look at his. Oh, you've got Elmer tessellations, sir. They're lovely. Now, I could go on and on and on, but my time's up. And I want to just finish because I promised to tell you about Mrs. Evans, okay? Now, it was about 6 years ago, in the little village where I live, we have, where I was born, we have a flower show and a festival in the church. And I was in there and a little voice said, that's Neil Griffiths. And there by one of the stands was Mrs. Loveday, one of my tutors. And I said, Mrs. Loveday. She said, do you remember me? I said, Mrs. Loveday, you remember me? She said, of course I do. Your dad told me about you. I said, did he? Because he died by this point. And she said, he used to walk past my garden on the golf course when he used to walk the golf course every morning with the dog. He said, you did these bags with things in. I said, I did. She said, you even doing some mathsy things. She said, Florrie's here. Florrie. And from behind gladioli, do, Florence Evans. So Mrs. Loveday said, do you remember Neil Griffiths? So I thought, well, I'll help her. I went, Griffiths. She didn't. But you know what I said to her? Mrs. Evans, I've always wanted to meet you again. I hoped that one day, later in life, I would see you. Because I'd like to say something. If it hadn't been for you, I would never have known how to teach maths. Now that wasn't a lie, was it? But it said everything. And I want you to promise me something. It took me till I was about 40 before I could honestly say, oh, I love maths. I don't want it to be that long. I want your children to love it from the first moment they can. And with lovely people like you, it could happen. Thank you.